Association partner interviews. Today I'm joined by Rick Drew from Mirabelle. I know it's been a while since we've been out here and talking to you, but one of our initiatives for 2021 is to bring our partners and our trustees into this platform so we can talk about our partners within the community and what they do within the community. So welcome, Drew. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here.
So tell us, what is Mirabelle Senior Living?
Well, before I tell you what it is, let me tell you what it isn't. Mirabelle is not, it's not one of those places that you would think to be an old folks home. It's not a nursing center. It's not a place where people go who are infirmed, who are sick. Mirabelle is a place where people would move to who want to have an incredible season in their life. They want to go into a community where they're taken care of. They don't have to worry about all of the things that taking care of a home really requires, and they can live in this season of their life and just have a good time. Mirabelle is senior living elevated.
And where is Mirabelle located?
Well, Mirabelle is right smack in the heart of Dadeland. It's right across the street from the Dadeland Mall and right next to the Publix in Dadeland.
So lots for the residents to do outside of just being in the building. And
there's a lot of activities for residents. There's educational programming, there's entertainment, there's so it's just
well, that sounds fantastic and inviting. So, I mean, why saying that? Why would someone, what are reasons that people would want to move into Mirabelle?
Well, a lot of people aren't really certain that this is what they want to do, but it's because of some misconceptions out there when it comes to moving into a senior living community. But moving into Mirabelle will provide someone an opportunity to really, really thrive. It'll allow you to have peace of mind, especially if you're a family member. And if you're living at Mirabelle, you're engaged, you're doing things that's going to keep you active. Where if you were to stay in your home, you might not have those activities of engagement. And some of the worst things that can happen to us is not to be engaged, to be alone in our homes. So moving to Mirabelle gives you a chance to be a part of community, and it gives you a chance to really be engaged and involved in things that are happening around you, which is going to actually provide you an opportunity to extend your independence.
I was just about to say that. And you said something about cruise, and I've read about cruise ships, and I read in your brochure that it's an all-inclusive type of experience. So can you go into detail about that?
I can. Now, the alcohol isn't included.
Well, like count me out.
Count you out. But all-inclusive at Mirabelle means that you don't have to worry about paying all of these bills that are associated with living in your home. You don't have to worry about the gardener, the pool cleaner. You don't have to worry about paying your utilities, your Wi-Fi, your cable, all those things separately. It's all included in your monthly fee. And housekeeping is included. Your concierge service is included. Transportation throughout the community, 5 miles out from Mirabelle, is all included for you when you move in. And the only thing you have to worry about being responsible for is your telephone. Everything else, even housekeeping and linen service, is provided for our residents. So it's stress-free living at its best.
Sounds like it. So a 5-mile radius, so when people can go anywhere, so they can go to doctor's appointments, shopping, errands, and that's all provided for them.
It is indeed.
That's fantastic. So how does Mirabelle compare with other senior living communities in our area?
What's happening today is I think the senior, they're kind of getting away from wanting to put a lot of money up front for moving into a senior living community. A lot of the communities out there that have these big upfront fees are making their money hoping you never have to use the services that they're offering. With the life care communities, you're paying up front for life care. At Mirabelle, you're going to pay to move in, and you're going to have all of the benefits of living in our community, but you don't have to pay up front for things you don't need. So Mirabelle is a little different than some of the others, and being a product of the Arbor Company, our residents get what we call resident-centered attention. There's not going to be 700 or 800 people living in our community. We have 144 independent living residences for our residents, and each of them are going to receive specific and individual service when they're moving the community. They're not going to be a bunch of one in a big pile or a little small fish in a big pond. They're going to be the same as the other fish and get lots of attention.
So 144 residents, are they single units? Can it be couples? How is that?
There's both. We have 1, 2, and 3 bedroom apartments. We have 144 apartments that are for independent living residents. We have 3 floors that are dedicated for assisted living residents, and that'll be opening this month. And we have something that no one else in South Florida, or probably even Florida, is going to have. We're going to have 1 floor dedicated to what we call connected living. Connected living is basically a bridge between assisted living and memory support. Memory and cognitive decline now has been classified into 7 different progression levels. And so if you're at levels 1 or 2 or 3, you might not need to be in a full service, full blown memory support unit. So Connected gives you that bridge where you can live and extend your independence as long as possible with engagement that might slow down that progression.
But also that has the expertise to provide for people that are going through the memory loss.
It does. And Teepa Snow, who was the nation's foremost expert in these progression levels, has teamed up with Arbor, and our care that we provide for these residents is based on their levels of progression. Now, if you get to a certain point, we're going to also have memory support on one of our floors for residents. It's being purpose-built specifically for those needs.
Gotcha. So I imagine that people that are making the decision to move into a Mirabelle type of community are afraid of losing their independence. So how do you support that for them moving in and relieve those fears?
Let me say that a lot of people are under some misconceptions when it comes to senior living. And we think that if we stay in our home, we're going to extend our independence the longer we stay in our home. But nothing could really be further from the truth. Some of the houses in Pinecrest have sunken living rooms, and being able to navigate those places in your home is quite dangerous at best. Changing a light bulb, 50 years ago wasn't much of a task. Today, it's very dangerous if you have to get up on a ladder and change a bulb. So those sorts of things are really problematic for folks. And what moving to Mirabelle is going to do is going to help to extend your independence. You're going to have someone changing that light bulb for you. You're going to have someone cleaning your apartment. You're not going to have to navigate stairs to get upstairs. A lot of these things, the oven, the stove, they're dangerous. And the bathtub is one of the most dangerous places in the house. So when you move into a community like Mirabelle, we're going to provide you with an environment that's going to help extend your independence and not hold you back from it because of a home you built 50 years ago.
Right. How has the pandemic affected the way you treat guests and residents at Mirabelle?
Well, the pandemic has had its problems for all of us. But,
of course.
But we've been very diligent in making certain that we follow the protocols that's been out there for all of us. Being an independent community, assisted living not having open until this month, we have a little different guidelines than some of the assisted living communities. But we're doing, obviously, the screening and the temperature checks, and we're making sure that we do social distancing. And we're continuing to have lots of fun activities on the community, but the residents just can't get really close to each other like they could before.
Right.
But we're having to deal with the pandemic like everyone else is. But I like to think that we're doing one thing that's extremely important, is our residents are insulated from some of the things out there that aren't very good, including the pandemic, but they're not isolated from the rest of the world. So they can still get out and do things as long as they follow some of our protocols.
And I know, I work in the credit union world, and you see, unfortunately, that the elderly are targeted for identity theft and scams. So do you have to deal with that? Are you able to shield them from these scams that are out there?
Let me share this with you. I'm a retired commander from the Osceola Sheriff's Office. And one of the things that residents who are living alone have to contend with is the fact that they're alone. We're living longer. So I might be living in my house alone because my wife may have passed and I'm all by myself, and my neighbors may not have lived with me as well. So I could be alone in an entire neighborhood. And if you look at this in a simpler form, like the animal kingdom, a caribou who lives in Africa, as long as they're together in a herd, they're pretty safe. But it's that one caribou that kind of gets away from the herd that becomes prey. And when we're living alone out there, all by ourselves, wherever it might be in Coral Gables or Pinecrest, we've become prey to these predators that are trying to scam us.
Yes.
Moving into a community like Mirabelle provides you with some insulation to that, and you're protected by the community itself, or we could call ourselves a herd. And so you have that protection for education about the scams, and you're protected because you're in community, which you might not have if you're alone.
Correct. So we have a question from one of our watchers, from George Gonzalez. Is Mirabelle a month-to-month location?
The good thing about Mirabelle is when you move into our community, you do not have to worry about being absolutely restrained by a lease that's going to last for a year or 2 years or 3 years. When you come in, we're monthly. Now, we do sign a residency agreement for a year, but we have a 30-day and you're out clause in it. So for any reason, someone moves into Mirabelle and they're not happy, all they have to do is give us notice, and we won't hold them or bind them to a long-term lease.
That's fantastic. If anybody else has any other questions, please drop them in the chat or in the messages, and we will address them. So if someone's interested in moving into Mirabelle, what is the process? What do they do? How do they visit?
Well, visitation right now is open. At one time, we were a little restrained and having to do everything via Zoom. But now we're inviting folks to come in and to come tour with us. We have to follow certain protocols, but we'll give you a full-blown tour and a presentation of the community, how it works, the benefits and the amenities, and the long-term results of living in our community. We'll make certain that everyone knows, when you come into the community like this, there is nothing but absolutely a wonderful life for you. And you might be leaving a wonderful life, but you're giving you're giving yourself an opportunity by moving into the community to really extend a lot of the things you can't get at home.
Right. And it's fantastic for people that have lived in this area and that, they're just moving to the next chapter of their life. Mm-hmm. And I have, as with the PBA, we hosted a luncheon there for our trustees, not last year, but the year prior. Obviously last year we couldn't have any in-person luncheons. And it's like you're in a beautiful apartment building. You don't feel like you're in a senior living community whatsoever, and everything is beautiful there. From the minute you pull up to the valet and walk into the lobby,
it's exactly what you say it is. It's community with benefits.
Yes, that's a great way of putting it. George has another question. Are units furnished, and can you personalize them?
You can personalize them, and they're not furnished. We do have some units that are designed for people to come down who are snowbirds that might stay for 2 or 3 months. We furnish those, but we have penthouse suites to die for. You have views of Miami, the Bay. You have some gorgeous sunrise and sunset views that you can choose. It is like no other place you've ever visited in Miami.
It is. It's beautiful. And Gary, hi, I'm here watching from Country Club. Hi, Gary. Thank you for watching. So we were talking, you and I love our doggies, right? Are pets allowed at Mirabelle?
We are definitely pet friendly. We feel like a pet is an extension of our family, and we wouldn't want to live anywhere without them. But when you asked about moving in, it's very simple. We do not require first, last, and security like some other communities might. All you need to have is your first monthly fee to come in, and we have a community fee that's required at move-in or deposit. And if someone actually deposited with us today and their move-in was a couple of months down the road and something happens and they can't move into the community, we'll give all of their deposit back to them. And we have something I don't think anybody else has. We have a 100% money-back satisfaction guarantee for anyone who moves into our community during the first 60 days. If they're not happy, they get every penny they put in the community back.
That's fantastic.
That's what we have.
Yeah.
We're so confident that what we're going to
that they're going to love it there.
Absolutely.
So take the chance. You might love it there. People, this is on your mind, and this is a move that you're looking to make. What else can we talk about?
Well, I think there's a lot we can talk about with respect to the community and the levels of care that we're talking about. When you move into a community like this one, you can move in and you don't have to be concerned about what's in front of you because your living, your expenses and everything is pretty predictable. So you don't have all these things jumping at you.
It's not volatile. You know what to expect.
You don't have to worry about hurricanes anymore because we're going to provide that protection for you. You don't have to worry about if a pipe bursts or your swimming pool has an issue, if your roof has a leak. You can leave all those things behind you. You move into Mirabelle and you basically leave your stress at the front door. Because you come in and you're going to have a different way of living. And you're going to have lots of friends that you're going to make for the rest of your life. And I think it's also important to understand that when you move to Mirabelle, one of the big things that Arbor, our parent company, our management company has is that our residents are absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, the center of our universe. And there's nothing that makes people who work in this industry more happy than to be able to make other people happy.
Of course.
I'll be honest with you. I was in this community, in this industry, in another community in Cutler Bay. Mm-hmm. And I left and I went into a different industry and I was going home at night, not happy, not satisfied. Unfulfilled. But here, when you know that you've helped somebody, even though they weren't really certain this is what they wanted to do, you really go home feeling good because you've made a difference in someone's life.
Absolutely. So another question from George, which is a great question. Is there medical staff at the facility? And if there is it available 24/7?
Here's the deal with the medical staff. We're going to have 3 floors that are going to be dedicated to assisted living. We'll have a registered nurse, LPNs, and CNAs on those floors, as well as on the connected living floor and memory support. Those particular professionals are there for those floors. Being independent living, we do have some devices there for your protection. We have motion sensors in our independent living rooms. So if something happens to you, you fall and you can't get up, it will detect the fact that there's no motion. It will notify the front desk, which is a nice little added feature. Having been in law enforcement, I had a horrible opportunity from time to time to actually visit homes where someone had fallen for 2 or 3 weeks before they were discovered.
Yes.
Here, maybe 8 hours, maybe 6 or 5 hours, but at least they're going to be discovered before it's too late. In addition to that, we have pool courts, and we have around the clock security. We have security cameras all over the community for your safety. And we have a member of, I think it's Baptist Health, that comes in on 1 day a week and does our wellness programs and does different things for our residents. And it's a registered nurse that comes in, or a nursing practitioner.
Mm-hmm.
So we do have some medical opportunities there for folks, but being independent, it's not there. But I think we're working with Baptist again to have some doctors who will do house calls pretty soon. So that's going to be very nice for our residents as well.
Fantastic. Yes. I had another question on the tip of my tongue.
Well, ask away.
I lost it there after we were talking about that. So Mirabelle is now a partner member with Pinecrest Business Association.
Yes,
we're excited that you guys have stepped up to be a partner member. So in addition to being a part of the Pinecrest Business Association, how else is Mirabelle getting involved in the community?
Well, let me tell you this. Now that we're Mirabelle and we're managed by Arbor, we're reaching out to do as much as we can in the community. You know, this right here is a good platform, in my opinion, for educating our seniors. There's not a lot of things out there to tell seniors what's going on in our community so they can get firsthand information like from a platform like this one.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot that we can do as an organization to get out and to educate the seniors on what is and what is not good for them out in the community. In addition, we can probably help them with making good decisions. Mirabelle has just really came into place since December the 1st with Arbor. But our intentions is to get completely involved, to actually saturate and immerse ourselves in this community and to be a part of it. And whenever you think senior living, the first thing we want to pop to your mind is Mirabelle.
Of course. Of course. With that being said, thank you very much for joining us today.
You're very welcome.
We look forward to being able to come back and have lunch at this beautiful facility.
Hopefully, you will be invited.
Hopefully this year we'll be able to have a trustee luncheon in person and not have to do it on Zoom. The Pinecrest Business Association, we are meeting in person for our February luncheon. We are limiting it to the first 30 people that register because we want to make sure we follow all CDC and Village of Pinecrest regulations. We want to test the waters and see. We did do a poll at our January meeting, and we had a quite a response that people wanted to meet in person. So we are going to try it out and see how it goes. So we are excited for that. So check your emails if you're on our email list. If not, go to our website. You do need to be a member to join in person. You do not need to be a member to join us on Zoom, though. You can still join our Zoom meetings. So if you have any questions about PBA, feel free to reach out to me. Go to our website, pbabusiness.com. Any questions about Mirabelle, please reach out to Rick. And we can put his contact information in the comments so that you have it. And thank you for watching. We'll see you again next week. Have a great afternoon, everybody.
Goodbye. Thanks for having us.
Bye.
Bye-bye now.